Welcome to the Women Who Rock with Success show, and this is your host, Mrs. Diane Winbush, and we're thankful that you tuned in with us on today. Don't forget about our upcoming event that's going to be on April the 12th, and we have some powerful women that are going to be able to bring you empowerment at the Hollywood Community Center. It's located at 1560 North Hollywood, and the city and state is Memphis, Tennessee, zip code 38108, as well as we have a community prayer breakfast that will be held on May the 18th, and that's going to be also held at the Hollywood Community Center, and that location also is 1560 North Hollywood Street, and it's Memphis, Tennessee, and the events for the 12th will start at 12 o'clock, and the event on May the 18th will begin at 9 o'clock a.m. promptly, and so just don't forget about those events and all upcoming events and speakers and guests that will be on our show, as well as don't forget to check out tools and resources on our Roku channel, Women Who Rock with Success. For more information about that, just go to www.womenwhorockwithsuccess.com. So thank you again for tuning in with us on today, and we have a super expert in social media that's our guest on today, and it is none other than Mrs. Sabrina Kizzie. So welcome to the show on today.
Thank you. Good morning, Diane. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Wow, this is exciting. I look forward to speaking to your audience.
Okay, perfect. I like it. Okay. And so tell us a little bit about you, Sabrina.
Sure. So I am a marketer, an educator, and a consultant. I often tell people that I live and breathe social media. As a college lecturer, I teach the next generation about marketing and social media. In addition to that, I'm also a consultant, and I work with clients about how to improve their social media. And lastly, I also am a PhD student. So I am studying my PhD in business management marketing with a focus on mobile marketing. So generally, I spend a large portion of my day either reading articles about social media, advising clients, or instructing students about social media.
Wow, that is awesome. So it seems like you have a very powerful drive and passion for the social media market. So what compelled you to get into this field? What was your desire that drove you to get more information, get more tools, get more resources, to get more education about social media?
Great question. So I've always been passionate about marketing. I've been in the field for over 15 years and started out when marketing was really about just traditional marketing, newspapers and billboards. And then I noticed that there was a trend towards digital. And I said, you know what, I need to learn as much as I can about this field of digital marketing and social media. And I started to read as much and go to industry meetings and events and network with people. And I was given the opportunity to lecture on it because I have a previous background in teaching. And so my background, my educational background, again, I have a bachelor's degree in marketing and a master's degree in public administration. And it just, as an educator, I always wanted to learn more about it, but also, too, to just really find out about how I can help other people as well.
Okay, perfect. Because the digital media, it appears to lead the trend for millenniums as well as for companies, conglomerates, and it's very, very important. I remember getting started in business and marketing and what have you, and so I kept, going back to the printed version of publications and things like that. But the more I began to publish magazines and what have you, it's the people are more interested. They carry more of their iPhones, their iPads. It's more like a digital move that is just actually surfacing entrepreneurs for the market. And so that is so interesting that you said that about the digital media. So now we're going to jump into something that everybody is wanting to hear, and they're going to, because a lot of times when we're on social media, Some people are there for, I guess, for plays. Some people are there for to market and advertise their business. And so this is going to be very exciting, and it's going to be very resourceful for the listeners as to how effective, and we want you to be able to expound on all three, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, of how each one of the platforms is effective for marketing for social media.
Great question. I mean, as a small business owner and as a woman entrepreneur, I know often people don't have the resources to put towards social media, but I really encourage people to invest some time in their social media in terms of their own branding for themselves as well as branding for their companies. And what I really enjoy about social media is that it allows everyone to share their story. Social media allows people to tell their company's story. So you mentioned all three social media platforms, and I'll dive into each one. First, Facebook. Facebook is a huge opportunity for business owners and entrepreneurs. I don't know if people realize this, but Facebook has 2.32 billion. That's 2.32 billion active users. And that tells you right now what a large audience is present on Facebook. People spend about 20 minutes a day on social media. And so I feel like Facebook is a great opportunity for people to really promote themselves and their brands as well. But you also want to take advantage of the opportunity to post information at the peak times during social media. So like peak usage times is basically when is the best time to really post on all these various social media platforms. And for Facebook, the high traffic time is during the midweek from 1 to 3. And as often people know, people usually, when they're on their lunch break or in the middle of the day, that's usually when they check in on their social media channels and see what's going on to catch up. So for Facebook, 1 to 3 o'clock is the ideal time to really check in and post information on Facebook. And it's a great platform, like I said, a social networking platform where you can put updates on there. You can put photos. There's videos. And there's always a way that you can check your matrix to see how things are going on any one of these social media platforms. So Facebook is actually an ideal place if we really want to reach out to a large audience. The other platform that you mentioned is LinkedIn. I love, 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 love LinkedIn. I think for anyone I suggest, and I tell this to both my clients and to my students, if you had to choose between any social media platform, I would also say choose LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a professional platform. It allows you to have all of your connections available there. You can post updates as well, activities, and I use LinkedIn as my personal phone book. I mean, all of my clients' connections, even from my students to CEOs of companies, are on my LinkedIn. And I, as we talk about traditional, I use it like my billboard. So LinkedIn, when I want my audience to know what's going on, I'll put an update, just for example, I'm on the show today, so I put some information that I was going to be on the show today and what time I was going to be there. And so if you want to really connect with influencers and B2B businesses, LinkedIn is definitely a place for you to be as well. Another social media site as well is Twitter. I'm very passionate about Twitter as well. And I have to tell you, one of my misconceptions when I first got on to Twitter was like, well, what is the purpose of Twitter? Am I just going to be tweeting out that I had a burger today? Is it really relevant? And that's, what I hear from people sometimes. But Twitter is a great opportunity to reach out to business owners, colleagues. It's 280 characters or more. And it just really allows you to get your message across. Although you have to get it across in a condensed method, and you might have more opportunities on other social media platforms, but it allows me to connect with people that I might not ordinarily be able to connect with, and lets me build trust and build a community on Twitter. And I've grown my account up to almost close to 10,000 followers, and that's just basically just trying to be a resource to people and getting information to them. And I tell my business owners, when you post content, you want to create very engaging content. It's not really about you. And I always believe in what I call the 80-20 rule. And that's basically 80% of the time is that you're being a resource to your audience. So whatever field you're in, you're providing content and being a resource. So for me, if you go to my profile, Sabrina on Move, in my profile it states I'm going to be talking to you about social media and marketing. So I'm giving you the up-to-date trends on what's occurring right now in the field of marketing and social media. So 80% of what I'm doing is putting out that content about the breaking news that's happening with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm engaging with you. And then the other 20% is my own self-promotion, like what I'm doing right now as I'm on a call with you right now and able to share my information with you, or I might be at a speaking event. So the other 20% is talking about your products, your services, what you have to offer your audience. And so that's a quick summary of all three, and I think for business owners and entrepreneurs, you have to decide and pick which is the appropriate social media platform for you. Where is your audience? Is your audience on Instagram? Is your audience on Facebook? Identify where your audience is, and that's where you need to be. You might not need to be on every single social media platform, but you need to be where your audience is at.
Wow, now that is a ton of resources. So sure enough, wow. Okay, so it's all about the audience, and we don't have to be present on each one of the platforms. Just narrow it down to make sure that you're reaching the right target audience on the right social media platform.
Exactly. So social media marketing is really about consistently using the right methods to engage with your target audience. And so when I say consistently, I mean on a regular basis. I notice some people, they might post something, in February, and then you might not hear again from them until March. You really want to be consistent, and you want to be, using the right method. So if your platform you think your people are on, your audience is on Twitter, you just want to put together, some content. I'm going to share this information, between 12 and 2, which is the ideal time, and, every day, or meet Monday from Friday. And I really suggest that people put together what's called an editorial calendar. And basically what that is deciding from month to month what type of content you're going to share. So if you're a business owner and you have, a grand opening, or you're launching a new book or something, okay, my launch date is April 15th. I'm going to get the calendar for April 15th. What am I going to do to promote this new ebook or the launch of my new company every single day? Am I going to do a countdown? Am I going to be a resource to the products and services that I'm going to offer? And then the day of the event, what am I going to do to showcase it? Am I going to have a contest? What am I going to do to encourage people to walk in? So you want to have an idea and have a strategies and a purpose and a goal for your social media activities.
Well stated. So, because, and I wanted to, I guess, piggyback on the comment that you had made. Sometimes if entrepreneurs, and I've been guilty of this myself, if you don't hear a response, sometimes we will drop a certain specific platform, and then we'll just go back to the one, the ones that we perhaps may be receiving the most engagement with. And so I think that is very important that that entrepreneurs, business owners remain consistent in what it is that you're doing. Eventually, someone will because people actually, you're new to the platform if you're just starting out with social media, and so people have to be able to trust what it is that you have, that you're bringing to the table for your brand. And so I most definitely agree with you on that when it comes to you have to maintain what it is that you're trying to implement with your audience. And so I think that is a very excellent response that you made in regards to that. So what strategies can entrepreneurs utilize in order to obtain an ROI, return on investments. And so that goes back to what I just got through saying. Sometimes we don't see the return immediately, and I know sometimes we have to engage with individuals for a while before we actually see a turnaround. So, and a lot of times people are looking for an engagement on social media as a monetary type of implementation. So how can businesses obtain an ROI from marketing through social media?
Great question. And it's funny that you asked that question because that is a major concern that most marketers have. And the real challenge they have is that how do they determine and how do they measure their return on investment? You know, people often say for different companies or whatever, I want a presence on social media. But how do you really determine if what you're doing is really making a difference? And so that goes back to first, state what your purpose is on being on social media. What is your goal for being on social media? Like one good purpose for being on social media is to really raise brand awareness about your company and your products. That's a great way to look at return on investment, is really just how do I raise my brand awareness about my company? And in addition to that, other people look at different things too in terms of how do their goals and their purpose for social media. So is it to raise brand awareness? Is it customer satisfaction? Is it to measure engagement? Right now, I see a lot of companies are using social media as a form of customer service and for community building. So like I said before, you want to build trust with your audience. You want to gain their trust. You want to build a community. I call it like your circle of influence, the people who are following you, who are engaging with you on a regular basis. And how you can do that is just really being consistent about the information that you're looking at and determining your goals. So if it's brand awareness, I want people to know about my company and the products and the services that I put together. If it's customer service, maybe you have, a product or a service and you're on these different social media platforms. For example, Twitter. I really had the opportunity, was very fortunate to go to the Twitter office maybe 2 years ago, and the manager at the meeting said that Twitter is the new customer service platform. And I'll say that again because that's huge. Twitter is the new customer service platform. And right now, 63% of customers, when they post something on Twitter or any one of the social media platforms, they expect a response within 2 hours. So what does that mean for a brand? That means that if you're posting information or you're a company, you really need to monitor what's being said about your company and brand on social media and be responsive. I mean, if I was to take a poll right now of all your listeners and I was to say, well, how many people might have had an incident or something with a company or a brand and they went to social media to voice their complaint or maybe even brag about a company and the services, most people would say they have. So just like us as consumers, we go to social media to share information, to maybe, complain about a service or really maybe say what a pleasant experience you had with a particular brand. You as the entrepreneur, the business owner, the brand have to be aware of that and also be able, how do I take care of this customer service issue? So to answer your question in terms of return on investment, you have to set your goals, the entrepreneur, business owner, the goals, what you want to do, your purpose on social media first, and then how do you want to achieve that. And there's all types of metrics that you can look at in terms of your numbers. On Twitter, you can look at Twitter analytics, and I look on that on a regular basis. So if I post something, it allows me to see what are my top tweets and what are the comments and what are the engagement and things of that nature, what is working and what's not working. Facebook has the same type of matrix too. LinkedIn as well. I'm able to look and see if I post something, how many likes, how many shares, how many reshares. So every single social media platform has some type of metrics involved in terms of looking at, how effective that particular post was or information that you shared with your audience.
Okay, that's an awesome response in regards to that. And so that just was something that kind of opened up my eyes as well in regards to Twitter, because sometimes we look at Facebook as being the, I guess, the more dominant ruler over, over social media for businesses as well as for users. So now the next question that I'm going to ask, which will be helpful for the listeners as well, and that is in regards to how important it is if you're going in as a business, because sometimes business owners will have personal Facebook pages, and sometimes they will have Facebook business pages as well. So how do you determine, if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, how do you determine your friend list? How do you structure that? Because sometimes people will come in and they will try to send friend requests, and of course, we don't want to be biased with that in choosing who to, I guess, network with or connect with. So how can an entrepreneur strategize that in regards to how they're connecting with people that send certain friend requests, their demographics, and also how to differentiate between who to connect with and who not to connect with, especially when you're trying to brand, you're trying to market, you're trying to advertise, but you have a specific audience that's coming to you that is not relevant to what you're trying to pitch in your market.
No, that's a great question, and I was just at a presentation, and someone asked the same question, and I can use that as an example in terms of LinkedIn. So someone asked me a question, well, is it quality versus quantity, in terms of your connections? Mm-hmm. And I always say quality is very important, because your connections are your circle of influence. Those are the people who you want to connect with in terms of maybe business opportunities or, someone that could be able to help your business, or maybe you can be a resource to them. Because if anyone knows me, I'm always about how can I be a resource to you as well before I ask you to do something for me? How can we work together? How can I, be a resource to you? So your connections are very critical, and people make a snapshot decision right away if they want to connect with you. Just for example, if you're on LinkedIn and you don't have a photo and you're not connected with anybody that you know, and there's limited information, your LinkedIn profile is not fully optimized, meaning there's limited information, and you don't send a note, I'm not going to connect with you because I don't know you. You're a stranger. And so what I would say, and I'll also go back to Facebook, with LinkedIn, you need to have a fully optimized profile, meaning you need a professional photo, right? We need to know what it is that your business, are you in marketing, are you, an entrepreneur, things of that nature. List all of your, if you're an entrepreneur, list what you do, the services that you provide, include media, have recommendations, have endorsements on this so I can fully determine, okay, this person connected with me. I really don't know them that well, but you know what? I'm going to connect with them. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I say. You want to have a strong connection because your platforms or how you share your information to others, and you want to share it to the right target audience. You want to share it with people who you can build a community with so you can be a resource to them, they can be a resource to you. And you don't want people who are just, going to connect with you because there's no way that it would be beneficial for you guys to help each other. Maybe they're going to put some negative post or say something that's going to be demeaning that's not even related to your business. So I say choose your connections wisely. In Facebook, you could have your personal page and also have your business page. And when people should understand and know that a business page is a business page, that you are going to talk about business. It's not, I understand that sometimes on personal pages, people don't like sometimes when you promote a lot of business things and whatnot. They want Facebook to be about their friends and family. But that's why you have a business page, so that you can talk all day long about your business and the things that you're doing. And people can't be upset about it, because that is the purpose of it. And you want to connect with people on your business page who you'll be able to, again, build a relationship and share what you're doing with them, and they'll have that understanding. So, again, the connections that you make on social media are very relevant, very important, and you want to make those right connections. And you, as the business owner, I always suggest you are the creator of your own brand. And that's what I tell people all the time. Although I'm a very private person, what I enjoy about social media is that it lets me share my brand story. It lets me share what I want people to know about me, as opposed to other people. And so use this opportunity on all your social media platforms to let people know, this is who I am, and this is the information that I'm going to share with you. Be very direct. So if you go to someone's Twitter handle and you read their information, you have the hashtag social media, marketing, whatnot. This is what you're going to hear from me. If you're interested in these topics, please, connect with me, and I'll connect with you.
Awesome. Because we're going to even talk about Facebook groups, even though we don't have 5 minutes left. But I'm trying to get as much in for the listeners so they can be able to have something as a powerful takeaway, if you will, from the podcast. And so in regards to Facebook groups, just to elaborate on this briefly, sometimes some groups, even if you join them, they can be sometimes misleading, if you will, and so for a quick example, I had, but what I did first, though, I researched it a little bit before I actually joined, and so the professional, they had the professional persona out there. The women had their pantsuits on, they had their business attire on. The image, the banner was very, very professional. But when I went inside and started looking at the comments and started to browse around in the group and look at the members and what they had to offer, it was not compatible. And so if you would share with the listeners, share with us about how it is important that we research, because sometimes you can be pitching for something and you can also be in the wrong group as well.
Well, you really wrapped it up really perfectly, because what you did was perfect. Really what you need to do is just thoroughly research these groups, because you want to make good use of your time and your resources. And if you want to engage with a group, you want to make sure that you're a good match. So just as you did, and that was perfect, you want to research it. You want to see what the group is about. What are the conversations about? Is it just like, you never want to be in a group where it's just going to be like a whole grief session, that people are just going to complain and they're not going to, be productive, because I don't need that. I could do that someplace else.
Exactly.
So you don't want to be a part of a group that's not progressive, that's not really taking action, doing things, and being a resource to you. And I know I've said that word several times, but everything is about being a resource, getting information, working with each other and different people. And just as I said, and you really clearly stated, is just do your research beforehand, and don't be afraid if you have to leave the group. You just leave the group, because if it's not going to be effective, it's not going to help you or whatnot, then there's no problem in leaving the group. But just as you said, do your research. And take it a step further. Like, if there's information about a Facebook group, do your research on it, and even Google people. Google, about the group, Google about maybe the leaders in it, and find out, okay, this group seems to be great. The people that are involved with it, or the leaders of the group or whatever, seem to be in the field. They're doing cutting-edge events and things of that nature. So I really invest time and effort into it, because you don't want to waste your time.
Absolutely. I most certainly agree with that. And so for the last question I would like to ask is to share with the listeners how they can connect with you, or if there are any books or e-books that you have published. You can be able to share that at this time, or any platforms that you would like for the listeners to be able to follow you with, or you want to share a website link, you are free to do that at this moment.
Awesome. So I am a confirmed speaker for those of you who live in the Atlanta area, or even if you can travel to Atlanta. I will be speaking at the Digital Summit Atlanta, and that's atlanta.digitalsummit.com. And on Tuesday, May 22nd, I will be speaking on the topic of LinkedIn videos. And I know we didn't get to discuss that, but LinkedIn videos is the new thing right now. LinkedIn allows you now to do native LinkedIn videos where you can go right from the mobile app on LinkedIn and create a video, and this is a wonderful opportunity for business owners and entrepreneurs. So I'm going to really go into detail, step by step, how to put together a LinkedIn video at the Digital Summit Atlanta on Tuesday, May 21st. In addition to that, I will also be at another Digital Summit event, but this one will be in Denver. So the Digital Summit Denver conference, it's a 2-day conference. I will be there on June 25th. And again, I will also be discussing LinkedIn videos. And please, I really encourage your audience to follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest under my handle Sabrina on Move, Sabrina ONMOVE. And please follow me on LinkedIn under Sabrina Kizzie. That's KIZZIE. And my website is socialmediaglamour.com. And I would be happy to connect with any one of your audience members, and would truly love to be a resource to you in terms of social media and marketing.
Awesome, awesome. And that's what Women Who Rock with Success is all about. It's a resource linkage for entrepreneurs and professional women, and women, of course, in the field of celebrity, to be able to bridge the gap between the resources that they are looking for in terms of the resources of where they have at that present moment. Thank you so much for being our guest on the day. And for all upcoming events, listeners, you can go to our website at www.womenwhorockwithsuccess. And we have had a joyous day with Ms. Sabrina Kizzie, sharing all of these tools and information with us. And don't forget to take all of these tools and resources and apply them to your business, apply them to your niche, apply them to your brand, so you can become more effective in your marketing and advertising field. So until Thursday, we will be back with you with another guest on that day. And so for now, have a great afternoon.